Yes, yes, yes. Rebel Hippie Show is back. Thank you so much. So tuning in, turning on with us. We are here at thepeer.org. Make sure you subscribe, like. I know you're looking like, where is this other guy? Oskee is camping, literally camping right now. He's probably sitting around the lake tripping. And but that is okay. That is okay because I got a very special guests. Um, June 28th, sat around tripping. These guys are on a rocket ship. You already know who I'm talking about. Little Stranger is in the house. We got Kevin and John Shields. What's up?
Yeah. Hey.
We're cheering from the back. You heard him in the back, boys.
Hell yeah,
you heard him in the back. How we doing?
Doing good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm living, man. I'm living. I'm trying to understand why this Sophia is such a bitch. Talk to me about Sophia, man. I love the single.
Heck yeah. Thank you, man. Yeah, it was we had like a late night studio session. One of our buddies here in Charleston, we do a bunch of writing with. He's just like the homie, and we always do some like we usually get cooking late night when we're hanging with Chris. A lot of times that's kind of when we do our best work. Often the phone stops ringing and you can like really hone in and focus on getting creative. But yeah, wrote it, came up with like the break beat and the acoustic guitar, and then kind of just went down a reminiscing maybe about ex-girlfriend's hole or something.
Yeah.
She's not a real person, Sophia, but she represents, everyone's got a Sophia.
Yeah, the conglomerate of terrible exes.
PTSD. I love first and foremost, man. I love the single. I love the concepts that you guys are like, man, you guys come from. Is it because you're sitting around tripping? Is that where these concepts come from? What's happening?
Sometimes definitely it's a real toss up with a lot of these songs. I think it's funny sometimes. I think the ones that people think we probably are tripping while making, we are not. We're usually like those will happen at like 3 p.m. in the afternoon. But like Brain Fog, 1000%, where we're losing our minds out by Outer Banks. But yeah, I really like that. I don't know, the way me and John work is like there's not like usually linear themes throughout an album or something like that. It's like whatever excites us kind of that day is what we just do. So it's like you get to just pick the idea and you kind of get to like have a creative writing session almost.
Yeah.
For me personally, man, the thing that really attracted me to the Little Stranger sound is just that it's like a roller coaster. You kind of never know what you're going to get, but it's always kind of thrilling, always kind of feels good. But you're moving in and out of not only genres, topics, different flows, man. It's a beautiful thing to watch. And I think that has a lot to say about why you guys are taking off in the way you are, man. I think that people can kind of relate across all genres, across all boards, what you guys are doing. So definitely hats off, man. I'd like to kind of go back. Obviously I want to talk about the new album, Sat Around Trippin'. But I'd love to go back, man, and kind of touch on like how you guys met and how Little Stranger was kind of formed.
Yeah, man. So Kevin and I, we went to the same high school outside of Philadelphia. And so we met our freshman year of high school. We sat next to each other in biology class because we had the same last name, and it was sat alphabetically. So we kind of became homies then. We cheated our way through that class pretty flawlessly. And but then we both were in different bands kind of all through college and post-college. I had moved back to Philly where Kev was living. And as our bands were kind of coming to a close, Kev and I started working closely together, and we wanted to make a little side project because we worked well together. We did a couple like live shows together, and it was clearly there was a connection there and a chemistry. So what started as making like a little EP of like 5 or 6 songs ultimately became our first album, Boot of the Beast. And it was pretty quickly after like that recording session happened, we were like committed to making this a thing.
Very right. And you guys were like essentially cutting your teeth out in that Philly scene. And I think that's like that either really brings you together or really lets you know like this is somebody that I'm working with, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it can get competitive in Philly. Get a little competitive. Love the shit talk, love the trash talk, everything. But I think we're on the kinder side, maybe.
Yeah.
But
And it's man, having someone else to work with. I had tried to do some solo stuff before Kevin and I started working together. Kev had done some solo stuff too.
Yeah.
And once we came together and you have that other person that's not only there to commiserate with the struggles of getting a project started, but also to kind of push each other creatively and enhance each other creatively, made a huge difference.
Absolutely. I can definitely attest to that. Having somebody to be able to bounce ideas off of, having somebody to tell you, yo, let's put that one in the crock pot right now. Sometimes we want to serve it right up, and sometimes it's good to have somebody be like, yo, let's throw that one in the crock pot, let that simmer for a little bit, I think that's a great thing. And the chemistry you guys have, your live show is incredible. For those who haven't seen Little Strange, you can check them out on tour with Stick Figure this summer. Talk to me a little bit about the live show. Talk to me a little bit about like, I'm really always interested in like how set lists are put together. If you guys are kind of switching things up off of the crowd, off of I'm always very interested in how people put their set list together and gauge their live show. And every time I've seen you guys in a stripped down kind of the Sugar Shack setting. I've also seen you on the big stage with the full production and stuff like that. And you guys never not put on a hell of a show. So talk to me a little bit about how you guys kind of go into that mode.
Hell yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. When we the very first version of us touring back in like 2017, we actually started with a full band with some buddies of ours who were up in Philly and Jersey. But we wanted to tour so heavily full time, and it was hard to. We were in Charleston at the time. So we kind of, they weren't available to tour as much as we wanted to, which led to us kind of figuring out how to pull off the set as a 2-piece, which led to me learning how to do the loop station thing and figuring out how to get a good drum and bass sound out of that. Because when it started, I was like beatboxing for 4 hours, which was exhausting and
insane.
Yeah. And you can only get so big of a sound doing that. So it was cool. We kind of finally figured out how to get the show sounding good. And what we noticed is once we started touring with the 2-piece, people seem to pay a little more attention. It was a more unique show than you get often, I think. And as we dialed it in and made it bigger and better, it's gotten to where it is now. And, we cut our teeth for the first 4 years touring, just playing like 3-hour bar gigs all over the country.
Yeah.
So that really helped us learn how to work off each other. Became like one similar brain now that we're performing at this level.
I think too that what that feeds into is, like you said, talking about how we write a set and things like that. John's usually the commander of the set, but I love recently I've noticed more and more we go, all right, first 3 songs. Let's pick the first 3 songs. If we can find the right vibe we want for that day, something we're comfortable with, it's kind of off to the races after that. Like we'll usually have it written out a little bit, but we're kind of always ready for a curveball, which is, I think, because of those 4-hour gigs, we're just on our toes the whole time up there. As long as you're confident with, ourselves, it usually is like pretty awesome. John will just throw a curveball out of nowhere. We'll play a acoustic bluegrass song for something.
Yeah. Those whenever we mix it up and kind of divert away from the planned set, that usually ends up being some of the more exciting tunes in a set.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because I will say that the thing that I think strikes me the most about a Little Stranger show is it feels incredibly intimate, even if there's 10,000 people there, right? Like even if you're in a festival setting, you guys are able to make it feel very intimate and really connect with the crowd on that level. And I think that probably speaks to that, like playing those 4-hour gigs and just kind of knowing each other in and out and where each other's going. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. Talk to me a little bit about the Stick Figure tour coming up, man.
Yeah.
That's a big boy. Yeah. We're very, very excited for that. We got to do touring with Dirty Heads last summer. which kind of like introduced us to these new, these like bigger amphitheater, giant outdoor space type shows. But this one is, I think this one's a whole nother level. So, excited to see kind of, how we can, like you said, keep it intimate still, like still make, like, I don't know. I like that we react to the crowd. We kind of like, goof around with people we see in the crowd and things like that. Just mostly excited, only like this tiny itty bit terrified of like being, in front of however many thousand people.
We're going to hold it down, baby.
We're going to hold it down, and we're bringing your bud, Ryan Maurer, out there. We got Ryan's playing sax. We got Justin Johnson is playing trombone, trumpet. I think he's going to maybe get some percussion up there too. And then we're bringing some backup singers on a bunch of these shows too, which will be pretty rad.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're very grateful for the opportunity here from Stick. I know that's a really, really big look for us. So we're pumped to get out there and crush it with them.
We're gonna see some pyrotechnics from Little Stranger or what, man? Coming up, what?
We might bring some sparklers or something.
Yeah, it's in the budget right
now. The sparklers, like Kylie Butts does the pizzas. That's the
move, we'll do sparklers. Man. Yeah, bro.
10,000 sparklers every night.
I like it.
Bad idea.
That's really not a bad idea.
Talk to me a little bit. I'm gonna go back to the last single as well. God at a Festival. Man, I can't wait to see this one live. Talk to me about how that came together with Andy and with Dan Skippy. I know you guys have a very long relationship with Dan Skippy, so talk to me a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a session done here in Charleston. Andy was in town, and we had written one song together before for his last album. But while he was in town, we wanted to get up and do a studio session. So he came over here to my house where we have our home studio set up. We got our buddy Ross Bogan, who's an amazing keyboard player. He plays in Doom Flamingo, along with Kanika Moore, who sings on it. She's in Doom Flamingo.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Andy's kind of like, he's this great, like maestro kind of guy in the studio. He plays keys too, but we had Ross playing keys. And Andy's like, that's fine. So he wanted some upbeat kind of gospel thing, and I bring the hip hop ish production to it. So it became this cool kind of crossing of like definitely one of the more upbeat things we've ever created.
Oh yeah.
But the session was super organic. I think the song was done within like 4 hours or something. And damn, Skippy's living with me at the time. Kev was over. He wrote his verse. I wrote mine real quick. We're like, yo, Skip, you want to get on the song? He's like, yeah, give me 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He wrote his verse, and we just tracked it all, and it was like done. We added some pieces after that and stuff. We got Ryan Stasek to play some bass from Humphreys. It was very much a Charleston, South Carolina, community thing to get on that tune.
So I'm so glad you said that, man. Talk to me a little bit about that transition from Philadelphia to South Carolina.
Yeah, I came down to college here in 2008. At the time, I didn't even really know that Charleston was a place. I was like just a kid from the Northeast. Ended up here with my old band, got through college, and it's this awesome. It has become this really cool music scene that is like packed with talent.
Yeah.
And Kev came along. What did you move down here 7 years ago or something?
2015, John wrote me this beautiful, touching, heartfelt email asking me to leave, all my homies, my girlfriend, Yeah. I don't even know if I had a good job. I probably had a job, but not a good job. So that one was easy to check off the list. But he's like, you got to come down here. We got to give this a real shot. I was also, again, the Philly in me was like, Charleston. Why would we go? Like, Philly rules. Why would we go to Charleston? And now it's like, it's honestly, it feels just as much at home as Philly. It's a stunning place. Like John said, the music community is unbelievable down here. There's a lot of like young church players that come up, and then they start these kind of like funk bands and jam bands. And I don't know. I feel very lucky to be a part of this crew down here.
Yeah, it's so intertwined. Everyone wants to work together and help each other out. If you're a producer, drummer, everyone works together in the scene. It's a special scene right now.
That's awesome, man. That's it, and it's definitely growing, right? Like you said, damn Skippy, and like, yeah, it's dope, man. It's dope, man. I love South Carolina. I don't like their weed laws very much, but I
Yeah,
love the state
Real.
itself. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like
And
a
I
lot of the
drive when I
laws
go
very
to
much.
South Carolina. I drive like this.
Yes, yeah.
Gotta be careful.
No doubt, no doubt. So talk to me a little bit about the album. Sat around tripping, on fire. We're talking.
It's our our mirror side of Trip Around Saturn, I guess. I don't, they relate in that the titles sound great together. But we're super stoked. It's got 12 tracks. We got songs with Wax. We had a track with Wax on there. We got a track with G Love. I don't know. It's like you said, I loved hearing you say the music is like a roller coaster. We kind of like, even the way the track listing, we built it out. We're like, okay, start off going like super deep, kind of bring them back, smooth them out type shit. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm so excited. We've been listening to a lot of these for a while, and even some of them, like a lot of times, we'll have a couple songs that are like, in the final hours of thinking we're done with the album, and then some idea happens. We're like, you know what, that one just made the cut, just slipped in. So it's fun. I'm very excited for people to see it. Singles have been going super well. Yeah.
This one was cool too, because Sat Around Trippin', really a lot of that was done during like the COVID pandemic stuff. So we had so much time. We were just making songs every day in the studio, making videos every day, not touring, So then this one, we started this album last January, and we rented a cabin up near like Asheville, North Carolina. It was like on the top of a mountain. You had to have an all-wheel drive vehicle to get up there. So we just like secluded ourselves because we had been touring a bunch. We needed that space to try to start getting creative. And it was awesome, man. We must have, a huge part of that session was just like creating ideas. Like I think probably one or two of those songs actually are on the record, maybe 3, but we made like 30 songs up there.
Oh yeah.
But it got us going. It got the creative juices flowing again. And then so beyond that, we come home from tour. We have a week, try to crank out another song, go back on tour, come back, make a song. So it was a fun process that kind of came down to the wire at the end. Like Kev said, we added a brand new one like 2 days before we submitted the album.
Do you guys find yourself writing on the road, or when you're on the road, is it I'm on the road? And like, because you mentioned like getting a cabin and going up to Asheville. That's a whole vibe in Asheville. But is that the normal process for you guys, or like separating like writing and touring, or is there kind of a little mix and match here?
I have a hard time, I find, on the road.
Yeah.
Getting into that headspace, because it's so, you're in the van traveling the next day after a show. It's like I come into tours with this grand scheme of this is the one I'm really going to get some writing done, and it's oftentimes you're just so wrapped up in the tour that I write a lot better at home.
Yeah, I'm definitely envious of those people that can write on tour and can find that time to like center, because it's it's just run and gun every day, and we definitely don't take it very easy on ourselves on the road either. So it's there's a lot of nap time. I think if I get a time to center, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fucking go to bed. Actually.
Catch a couple hours.
A lot of hurry up to wait type of deal.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's most of it.
Nice.
But yeah, man, we're pumped. What we did the album cover with our buddy Paul Kelmis here in Charleston. He's a great friend, good musician and photographer, and we had collected all these little pieces of Little Stranger imaging and branding from over the years from our videos. We had like the Caterpillar suits and the Power Ranger helmets, and tutus have become a thing. People throw me tutus on stage, and we got these giant shoes made for the album. So it was cool. It's like kind of a bunch of little Easter eggs of the things that have led us to where we are right now. Yeah. And then we got the actual couch that's behind me in the studio here, which if there's anywhere we're sitting around tripping, it's on that couch. So
the album cover is fire. The album cover is fire, man.
Thanks, man.
It reminds me of like back I don't remember which album it was, but Redman did a when he I think he did the Docs the Name thing when he was going around with the mascot with the big shoes and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
So everything was just on steroids. It looked so I love the cover, man. Absolutely love the cover.
Thanks, Dad.
Very, very much so. Looking forward to seeing you out on the road. We appreciate your time today. I got 2 final questions. We always end every show with a song. Doesn't matter what genre, it doesn't matter who the artist is, just a song that kind of gets you going, gets you motivated, whether it's for a long drive, whether you're hitting the gym, whether you're about to eat a quarter of fungi, whatever it is that you're about to do. I'll start off. I got a song that I've been bumping constantly. You're going to be out on the road with Stick Figure, Sublime and Stick Figure, brand new song called Feel Like That. And they got lyrics from Bradley's son's on there. It's a wild song, man. It kind of brings back a lot of memories for me. And that song is fire. So it'll be in the
song's
description.
dope.
Yeah, it's so cool. So cool. They
Absolutely.
did that.
What's some music? What's something that gets you guys going? It doesn't have to be a particular song. It could even be an artist that gets you fired up and gets you ready to go.
You got one, John? You got one?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, hit it.
I was gonna say it's the song Struttin by this band THUMPAVERSE. That's like that was like our summer anthem a couple years ago, and still anytime you pop it on, man, it's this upbeat. We would put it on in the van, like as you know, we're all tired in the van, and as we're rolling up to like the gig, we put it on and just all get hyped up.
Get hyped, yeah.
Slapping the walls and shit. So that would be, if you're looking for like a feel good up tempo tune, Struttin by THUMPAVERSE.
Yeah, that was definitely a ripper for a while. I feel like on the last tour we just did with Denim, I found myself, especially the second half of the tour, I would end my night going back into the bandwagon, sparking up a joint and putting on this song Spiky BOiz by 1999 Right the Future, and it's got a rapper Smino and it's got Ghostface on it. It's just like this super vibey, like, you know, it was just like the perfect way to kind of end my night. I'd get in there and like have a little bit of time and just kind of dance out off all the like anxiety of finishing the show. And then I was like, okay, cool, I could probably go to bed now, or in 3 hours, or in 5, who knows.
I love it. I love it. All these songs are going to be in the description. I have to ask you guys one last question because I was born in Philadelphia. You can only have one. You can only choose one. Are you choosing, I'm going to think, Allen Iverson or Randall Cunningham? You can only have one.
I know.
Yeah, Allen Iverson, baby.
AI all day.
AI
That's
all
my
day.
guy.
AI
That's our
all
guy,
day.
dude.
Yeah.
What about B-Dog?
B-Dog,
or B-Dog?
He's a scary dog.
Yeah.
But I'm just like Iverson for me growing up as a kid. I mean, Dawkins was growing up too, but Iverson I thought was the coolest.
Yeah.
To this day, I think it's probably the coolest NBA player of all time. He just
he broke the NBA. Like they were all wearing suits and everything. He broke it and brought hip hop in, and then like, yeah, I mean, it was like, you know, we grew up watching N1 Street Ball too, and he was that perfect mesh of like the killer crossover meets like, you know, a dude that will drop a layup. He doesn't have to dunk.
There was nothing like the energy in the Wachovia Center when AI was playing. That's for sure.
Hell yeah.
That is for sure, man. Hey, Little Stranger, so thankful for you guys coming on. Kevin, John, I wish you guys nothing but the best. You guys are on a rocket ship, and we can't wait to see what's next. Whatever you do this week, make sure you do it the very best you can. Make sure you break rules, spread love. See you next time.